Hi there, it's Amanda here. Welcome to Arts and Wellness Wednesdays. Thank you for joining me. How are you? How are you doing? So it's just really a little bit of a check-in, and I have to often ask myself that, and I say that from week to week because we can forget to actually check in with ourselves and see how we really are and what's going on, what sorts of things we need to kind of focus on, what things we dwell on, and what things we need to do to get us, in a state where we can move forward. And for many around the world, they're either dealing with the loss of a loved one, they're dealing with being ill themselves, losing a job, job uncertainty. So my thoughts go out to you all, and I just, pray that the people in charge, the governments, actually get their act together and they focus on what the needs of the people are. And when you look at countries all around the world, I've been watching the news on, like in India, they were given like 4 hours to, everything was locked down, trains were stopped, and it's just like, you got millions of people who need to get home that's like, 20 kilometers away, and you stop the trains, and so they have to walk. And one report, it was a family, they'd been walking for 15 days. It's just terrible, carrying their belongings, and they call them migrant workers, but they're actually, they live on the outskirts of India. Anyway, so our thoughts are going out to me, myself and I, thoughts are going out to everybody around the world, and pray that, you are well, and as well as can be expected, and that you're able to find ways and means of working through your situation. And so arts and wellness is that kind of little bit of inspiration and hope, and hopefully inspiration and hope that you can find yourself in each and every week. But generally throughout the week I post. So Mondays I post art journals. I've been a bit, and it's life, I would say. Life happens, and as well as what I call my responsibility as an artist is to show up and to share, because we don't know how we impact other people. And I know that there's sometimes you come across a post that you just think speaks to you right there and then. It's just, sorry, piece of pomegranate. I was doing my let me not lose my train of thought. So yeah, there's somebody around the world who is waiting to either read that post you're going to write, see those images you're going to post, the painting you're going to do, the art journal page that you are thinking, okay, I'm just getting thoughts down. So as creatives, I feel that we have a responsibility, and it's not that kind of stuffy responsibility where you say, if you don't do this, the world is going to come to an end. But it's that you should do it, you want to do it, you often stop yourself from doing it. But when I think about my responsibility as an artist to show up, and first and foremost to show up for myself, then that takes out the, I don't really feel like doing it today. I take creativity as a whole, so it's showing up and doing something creative. So whether I'm painting, whether I'm sketching, whether I'm creating a sculpture, or a wall hanging, or whatever it is, it's about showing up to do something creative, starting my day with something that is going to feed me and help me to get through the day, to do the other things that I need to do, and some of the things, that you may not want to do, or have conversations that you may not want to have with people who we're not even going to go there. I won't take you down that road. Anyway, but deal with situations that you want to kind of, you don't even know why you're having it, and people being unreasonable and or wanting their point of view to be the only point of view. Anyway, so I've dealt with a few things this week. What's today? It's Tuesday, Wednesday. It was over the weekend. And I've moaned to a couple of people about it, and I'll probably moan again. I have my weekly call with my friend Paul, so he might get a little earful as well about it. But it's literally about, you know, you're doing something for somebody, and that's why you have to continue to check how you are, how you're feeling. Don't be saying you're going to do something because you feel guilty or you feel obliged to, or, you know, even when you really don't want to. And so the situation I found myself in was a situation where I should have said, no, this is not going to work, because 3 years down the line we're having an argument about this is a result of this thing not working. And whilst we've tried to make it work, really and truly, we should not have, you know, worked it out this way. Anyway, I've been going down memory lane this week, and I was sorting through I was sorting through some papers, scrapbooking papers that I brought. And when I first got introduced to scrapbooking, so we're going back to 2005. So 15 years. So I brought, I went to the shop and I brought 3 big, are they here? No, I think I've put them away now. So I brought 3 scrapbooks because I'm going to get into scrapbooking. And brought all these papers, and I was buying online even then, kind of like, you know, I brought all these papers. They were beautiful, lovely papers. And scrapbooking wasn't for me. I'm not interested in scrapbooking, really and truly. I thought I would be, and I tried to be, but I just couldn't get the idea of, so I'm taking my photographs out of my photo album, and I'm not even putting all the photographs in this scrapbook, but I'm taking a few photographs, writing and adding imagery and, you know, matting and putting some fancy embellishments on it. And then I've still got, and then I'm filling up, you know, let me just get my, mosquitoes are biting me. Sorry, they're biting me under the table. Just spray my, biting me on my knees. It's just like, what's going on? So anyway, I didn't get into scrapbooking, but I still have all of these papers. Some are still in the wrapper, and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do with it? But in one of the scrapbooks, I had joined various groups where you exchange art, or, you know, like pen pal kind of things, and you exchange art, and they were really actually really nice. It was a nice activity to get into, this as my introduction to the art world and just getting to know other artists around the world. And so a few of them, one was from Portland, and she sent me a series of cards, so they were like card swaps, and then there were other people that you could write to. So one of them made me this bracelet. Pretty, and it's very pretty. And then there was another one. She was from South Africa, and she made me a pretty bracelet from glass beads. And so we would send each other back and forth, you know, little things, and that was a really nice time. And so I was just like looking through letters that I had been sent by, you know, other friends who had immigrated. One went to China, and and I only recently, after 15 years, got back in contact with her recently, so that was quite interesting. And what else was there? Yeah, so there were all these papers, and I also found when I first had my son, who's going to be 25 this year, there was this like centre up the road from us, and we used to go, and I found this picture. That's me and Sakani there in the corner. So he was about like a year, and I think it was probably about a year because he was still in nappies, maybe 13, 14 months. But this was it's called Daniel's Den. So yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh, that's like 20 odd years old. And so I found this amongst the papers. So it was just like, wow, look how time flies, you know. So I remember that day. I remember him wanting to go and crawl, but I was I need to put you on the mat because the floor's kind of dusty, because he wasn't walking at the time. And yeah, that was probably either I think our first or second visit to Daniel's Den, and we went kind of like, it was once a week or maybe twice a week, I can't remember. But they're still going and still, you know, working within the community with parents, mothers, and they have events and things like that. And I sent the image to Joanna, who was running it, on Instagram, giving her the image, and it was just like, you know, time really does fly. And so when you look at your kids or your nieces and nephews or wherever, and you look at them and how big they've grown, you just think, okay, so yeah, they've got 20 odd years on them, and so have I. So you can see my little grey fringe that I'm kind of working into some sort of style and fashion. But yeah, sometimes it's good to reflect and go down memory lane, and your art journal is a great place to be able to capture all of these. And so this would be something that I would, you know, rather than, actually I might put it in my art journal. So I've got a page where, let's see if I can find it. I did a page, oh, it's here. So this is Sakani when he's in primary school, and actually on the page what I've done is I had a photograph of him, and then I've just added it to the page and added wax and other things on it, embellishments. It's got a lovely smell. But on this page, what I might do, I guess it's kind of like a scrapbook, but I'm not using it as a scrapbook, is just to add this image and glue it in the book and seal it, so that these two pages go together rather than it just being a loose. I'm not going to scrapbook, but in my art journal I might write a memory. And so your art journals are great places for you to capture either memories, whatever, you know, it's up to you what you do. There is no, you have to do this. You know, as an artist, decide what you want for yourself. You know, you have to make time for yourself, and that is it. That's it. You have to make time, and you have to make time to be creative. And there's no point in wanting to be an artist but saying, oh, I don't have 2 hours. You don't have to have 2 hours. You can just take a snatch of time. And so most of the recordings that I do and share with you is about taking those snatches of time, because often, I mean, that was the song I used to sing. Oh, if only I had a day to do art. It's just like, I'm never going to have a whole day to do art. I might have you know, now I have more time because I make the time. I don't, if I've got something I want to create or do, I work everything around those things. And so, you know, the first part of my day, that's, you know, I'm in the studio just kind of knocking about ideas, and then, you know, I'll go and do some other things, and then I'll come back, and I have a schedule of things that need to be done. And so I slot them in and I find the time to do it. And so sometimes where I might really want to work on an idea, like I've recently joined this group, it's called African and Afro-American Sculptors. And came across this artist who made these amazing fabric masks. And as soon as I saw them, it was just like, they just spoke to me. And I thought, wow, you know, I'm doing some stuff with fabric, but I haven't been doing any faces. And I toyed with the idea of maybe using photographs, and I don't particularly want to use photographs. And when I saw these masks, they spoke to me. And it was just like, I want to create a fabric mask using using my artwork as a basis for the image that I create. Now there's another artist called BC Butler, and she does art quilts. They're amazing. You think that they were painted portraits, but she uses just fabric. And so I wanted to just experiment, and it was just like, it was then giving myself permission to experiment. And so what we're going to be doing creatively for the rest of this session is I want to show you some things that some fabric kind of miniature wall hangings, and I'm calling them fabric songs, tales of ancestry. That's what I'm calling them. And some of them, the larger pieces, are called fragmented stories, because they're essentially about the stories that we were never told about our ancestors, or the stories that, like, I can remember my grandmother, but that's as far back as I know. And there's maybe my uncle and my aunt lives in Manchester, my uncle. So maybe they might know about my great-great. So it's the tales of those after that I have not yet known about, but it's within my DNA. And in that sense that it's a part of me, and there's a part of me that actually knows the story, but the physical part of me hasn't yet caught up with the spiritual part, in the sense that who knows the stories, so that who if I say listen to, you know, say one of the family members, and they're able to go back, they'll say, oh yeah, your great grandmother also stitched, also worked with fabric, also, you know, your great grandfather was a potter, or, you know, created you know, these fire pits, or the traditional methods used for firing. A lot of people use the term primitive, and it's just like, there was nothing primitive about it. It was built for a fit use. So I would call it looking at the traditional methods for firing. You know, when you look at, there's this woman, oh my gosh, she's she's Chinese YouTuber, but she does, her name's Lee Quinn. Anyway, she does, her videos are like a cinema experience. It's just like amazing, blockbuster. The environment, the scenery. I'm still itching here because I'm still being bitten under the table. Anyway, it's just beautiful. She does some beautiful videos and you have to watch them. She doesn't talk in any of them. Sometimes there's some subtitles of the foods that she makes. She makes food, she makes furniture, she plants a whole range of things. Actually, I got some sweet corn I planted. Anyway, so she planted, the last video I watched, she planted, it looked like a whole field of wheat. And then her and 3 other women, after it had all grown, proceeded to, what's the word they use? Harvest the wheat. It's not harvest, it's something else. The wheat. Then she took it on this big cart. I'm not sure whether it was like a bike or whether it was motorized, but then she took it to her yard, and then they proceeded to get all the wheat out of the, I don't even know the terms, but a lot of that, there was this action going on with this paddle and then beating the wheat things, and then they separated it and she gathered the wheat and then made about 1 million different things out of this wheat, including these toffee and these little sticks of like candies, basically. I think the video is entitled "How Many Things Can You Make Out of Wheat" or something like that. But she's just an amazing she's an amazing woman, and amazing in the sense of the way that she thinks about her videos, the shots, the angles. There's like, she takes you, it's a story, she takes you along, and the imagery is fantastic. And I'm hoping to learn a lot more so that I can create more experiential videos for you guys. Anyway, so what we're gonna, the other thing that I was doing was looking through fabric. So after I'd seen this guy who'd created this fabric masks, I was just like, oh my gosh. And he used I think a lot of there was jeans material that I noticed in there. So I started just looking. I've got bags and bags of fabric scraps, so I thought, oh, maybe I can do something. So I started off, I've just selected a bag here. It's not for any particular purpose or anything, but just to show you fabric scraps that and that might be something that you want to do, you know, just that might be something that you want to do, you know. And the fabric scraps go back years. And there's one, this one, I remember, it's from it's not a sari, but it was that kind, it was like a sari, but it was made into a skirt, and then there was this little bodice, and then this big long like shawl. So this, I think, is from the bodice. But look at all the tiny beads it's got on it. It's beautiful. So I was using a part of that. So this is like, and the smell. It reminds me of when we was younger. My mum, the smell, the perfume that she would use. It's so weird. But it's been sitting in a bag. My mum has not been anywhere near this, but it had her kind of, you know, it's like a faint perfume, lily of the valley, I don't know, but that kind of homely, comforting, being small kind of smell without a care in the world. Anyway, so yeah, I'll show you what I then came up with, and I'll show you some of the small wall hangings as well. Well, I'll show you those first, and then I'll show you what I've been working on, because then you can see how things progress. So we are just going to, behind me. Okay, yeah, so these are the little bracelets that they made. Very pretty. Anyway, so let us look at some of these. So I've shared some of these online already, and these are the kind of things that I've been creating. So they're just very small pieces. This is a woven piece, and then it's embellished, and it's got some, you know, sculptural pieces on it. And then this was the second one I did. It's called Shades of Green. I've got a video coming out of this, just a small one, just looking a bit more in detail at the stitch. The sunshine is really, I'm not even complaining about the sunshine, but hopefully you'll be able to see it very clearly. But I've got some, I will be sharing more images on my blog. And then this one I recently made, I found in a thrift store. This, it was what was it? Was it like just pieces of material, but it's engorged? That's not the right word. Ow. It's got loads of beads on it. It was so pretty, but I just put them together. So there are, for me, there are stories in each one that sometimes are just waiting to come out, or that have yet to come out. And I just feel that it's my responsibility to show up and make whatever it is I'm feeling that I need to make. And that is me showing up. And then the stories that are associated with this, like somebody might see this and it sparks something in them. So the stories might not necessarily always be mine to tell. So it's got a bit of the burlap. Where you're working with burlap, it can be very, like, bits on it. So you can see the black underneath a bit more clearer. Yeah, so yeah, some of the stories may not, and not necessarily I'm going to be able to verbalize, but I know that I had to make this. I know that I had to make the, you know, all of the pieces I create, I know I have to make them. And I just have to show up and finish them. And then there's like an inner feeling, it's weird. There are even some pieces, like before when I had done this, I didn't have, let me come in closer, I didn't have any of the additional stitching that you can see, like here. And it had this bit, had the beads and everything, but the additional stitching wasn't there. But it was like a feeling of incomplete. It was a feeling of incomplete. And it wasn't until, like, I'm looking at it now and I don't get that feeling. So I'm learning to work with that and listen to what my inner being, spirit, what I'm being told or guided towards, because it's not like an audible voice. But yeah, just guided to actually create. And so this feels finished. I left the back as is. I'll probably just cut off the loose pieces, but the next person then that this is important as well, the back detail. I like to, because the back, you'll see certain patterns that you wouldn't necessarily see in the front. So all the stitching, the red stitching, the blue, you see it a lot clearer on the back. So I think that's important as well for somebody to see, and it might inform the work that they do. So yeah, and I've coated put burlap on some of the back of these, like this. It was just like, these were painted years before I knew I was going to create a piece like this, and then they came together. And even this, you know, again, putting the elements together. Putting the elements together and it just fitting, and the flow of the stitching and the the colours that then come together, they're all kind of working together in unison. So that's, yeah, these are things that I create, and I allow myself freedom to, freedom just to work on the pieces as they come. I don't necessarily do it in order, but when I'm feeling to make a piece, I will just get the materials, start bringing things together, and then that starts the process of creating. So I'm now going to show you the other piece that I've started working on. This is a new one. I mean, it's funny, there are others that come before this, but I just felt compelled to start making it. I'm gonna, sorry, just get a plain background so that you can maybe see it a bit better. So this was my first initial response to seeing the mask, and this image came up, and then what I felt I would do was, there are some small sketches that I've done. I'm trying to remember where they are. I've taken photographs of them, so that's okay. But there's small sketches that I've done that I thought, I was wondering what I would do with them. And now I'm thinking, actually, they might do really well as fabric masks or pieces or wall hangings or whatever. So I'm going to give it a go and see how I get on. So this piece, let's go in. It's a face, and then this is her neck. I still haven't finished, but you know, I just started cutting out and putting things together and just laying it down. And then so this bit is part of that fabric that I showed you with it's the Indian fabric, which it's got quite a close weave, so it's nice to work with. So I'm stitching in it at the moment. I've just separated pieces and then put them together to kind of signify hair. But I want to lay this on a larger piece of fabric, and then, you know, take the stitching out. So I would be utilizing some of these colors, and then, you know, just taking the stitching out, the slow stitching, or the Boro Shishiko. I still never get that right. So yeah, on the back you'll see some stitching, and sometimes it can be as nice as even the front. You can't really get a good enough picture. Let's go in. So even in the headpiece, the lines, and then you can see the light lines of the face, and then where the lips are and the neck. But yeah, this is just a, you know, like, I'm playing with this and I'll just see where it takes me. So like on the back, I would just thread it through as if it were the front, in terms of you don't have to knot it like you would. You don't have to knot it, basically, because there's not going to be like, look, it's not like an item of clothing that if it's not knotted, sorry, if it's knotted anyway, it doesn't have to be heavily knotted. You can just do some back stitches. Like, there's no heavy traffic going around here, so it's going to come loose, is really what I'm trying to say. Oh gosh. And then what I'm thinking is just to take those stitches and just take it up there to the top. And then, you know, maybe incorporate with a different colour just around here. So this is just, I don't know, I'm just playing, as I said, you know, so you've got to allow yourself time to play. But I'm liking this, I'm liking where this is going, and I'm looking forward to working on a few more. So, again, how are you doing? Because I'm going to put this here like that. We are back in the room. So I hope that's been useful. So where we haven't necessarily worked on an art journal, it's being creative. So it's about how can you find different ways to be creative that suits your needs at the time. And you know, for a lot of you, the jump off place might be the art journal and add in fabric, because I was even gonna think about, add in embellishments. I was thinking of even maybe adding that to a page. So one of the pages could be, I could stitch this to a page. I could do all the stitching on the fabric, and then I could stitch it to one of the pages. So your art journal becomes this wonderful place that anything you can, you know, be creative. You know, you can really explore without feeling, oh no, perhaps I shouldn't do that, or you know, what will they think if I? And you have to think to yourself, well, who are the they? That's what I keep saying to myself. Who are they who you feel insecure about your work, or that you're going to be judged about your work? That they don't exist. And the people who you should be sharing your work are not going to be criticizing you, because we all know what it's like. And I need some water. We all know what it's like to share our work with people who actually really don't understand. We should have never shared it with them at all, and who are just critical and say hurtful things. And I think it's maybe because they see something in your work that they wish they were at that point where they could. It's almost like, you know, you're allowing yourself to soar and they want to grab your foot. So what they see in your work is you soaring, and it's just like, oh, what's this? Oh, why did you add those colours? If it was me, I would have. So we all know certain people, we all know somebody like that. So yeah, allow your art journal to be your safe place, and don't even judge yourself. So I don't want to hear, oh, I can't draw, or I don't know how to do this. Look at all the videos I've got. You can find something that will help you, or you know, look on YouTube or look online. You know, there's the information you need is at the touch of a touch screen. So there's no excuse, and what you've got to get over is yourself. So I'm talking to me as well. You know, there are things that I sometimes hear myself saying and think, really? You know you don't believe that. You know, so why are you saying it? If you're not going to say anything loving to yourself, then don't say anything at all. And I'll be like, yeah, okay. All right, yeah, sorry. Okay. But, you know, do not come from a place of judgment, especially when you're looking at your own creativity. If you do not know what you want to do, walk away and do something else. Yeah? So don't beat a dead horse. It's like, oh gosh, that's not nice imagery. Gosh. So sometimes you need to, and just like I did, I was thinking, oh, I need to do an art journal page, and it was just like, actually, you feel like working on this fabric mask. I feel really excited about it, because it's what what his work did for me is almost like open a door. It's open a door to possibility, because when I saw it, I didn't think, oh, I want to make one like that. I just thought, oh my gosh, I was so much, I can make a fabric mask. And as I say, I've been doing all of these kind of sketches of faces, sides of faces, and it was just like, I'm sketching it for a reason, but I'm not sure. And now it's flowing together. I want to do something in fabric with it. And so, yeah, I'm just so pleased. I will try and put his name up so you can come and go and look at his work. He's only done, I did try and look at his Facebook page, but from what I could see, there was only 3 fabric masks that he's done on this particular site. So I'll still investigate and see, and if I can find a website with his work, then I will upload that as well. Put a link so that you can go and check it out. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm sure we've gone over 20 minutes. I want you to remember that you matter. Remember that you have a plan and a purpose. Remember you have a responsibility to show up for yourself and to show up and do something creative. Remember, there's no hard and fast rules. It doesn't have to be this one thing. It can be whatever you want to try. So give yourself permission. I give you permission. if you want, you know, I'll give you permission. I'll even give you a permission slip. So let me know how you get on. Share your work. Even if you want to just send it as a direct message, you know, you don't have to share it publicly if you don't want to. But, oh, and remember the creative encourager. You can have, I am the creative encourager. So you can have 2 free 30-minute sessions. If there's anything you want to talk about your creativity, journey, direction, path, whatever it is, responsibility, then you basically go on the line. Sounds really old, doesn't it? Go online and you click the time that you want to schedule, and that's it. It sends me a message and we meet up on Zoom. You don't have to do the video bit. You can just talk, and you know, you might get a different perspective. So if you're feeling stuck and you want to chat, then take me up on that. I'll leave the link for those as well. What else? Check out the videos I did on Monday. Did I do a video on Monday? It was posted late, but check out the video, and on Friday there's going to be some more lovely stuff coming up. So look forward to seeing you. Remember, if you are new and have not subscribed, then please do, or if you're old and have been coming back and have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. And yeah, let's enjoy this, have fun, take care, stay blessed, be a blessing.